There's a powerful idea I want you to grasp today, one that will change the course of your life if you let it. Success isn't a matter of luck, and wealth doesn't just fall into your lap by chance. There's a specific routine, a set of actions that, when followed consistently, can pull success and wealth into your life like a magnet. But here's the catch. This routine isn't easy, and it's not comfortable. It's the kind of routine that forces you to level up, to demand more from yourself than you've ever done before. Think about the people you admire, the ones you look at and think, wow, how did they do it? Whether it's financial success, personal achievements, or just the peace and satisfaction they radiate. There's something about them that's different. They've learned, consciously or unconsciously, that success doesn't come to the unprepared, and it certainly doesn't come to the comfortable. It comes to those who are willing to do the work, to step up, to discipline themselves, and to make progress even when it's tough. Now, I want you to take a moment and reflect on this simple truth. You are where you are because of the choices you've made. You might not be able to change the past, but you can shape the future. And the good news is, you have everything you need right now, the time, the tools, and the potential to level up and attract the wealth, success, and abundance you deserve. Let me tell you something about standards. Your life right now is a direct reflection of the standards you have accepted. Your income, your relationships, your health, they are all echoing the minimum level you've been willing to tolerate. So what's the solution? Set new standards that demand more of you than anyone else ever would. If the world expects you to show up at 9, you show up at 8:30. If the assignment is due Friday, you submit it on Wednesday. If the quota is 10, you bring in 15. Not because someone is watching, but because you are watching. And if you can trust yourself to be excellent when no one's looking, success will begin to trust you back. Excellence is not about perfection. It's about exceeding your own expectations daily. One man wakes up and says, I'll do just enough to get by. Another man wakes up and says, I will become the best version of me, and I'll prove it today. Guess who attracts wealth? Guess who becomes indispensable in any room? It's not the man with more talent. It's the man with more standards. Let me warn you, raising your standards won't feel good at first. It'll be uncomfortable. Growth always is. You'll have to say no when others say yes. You'll skip the party. You'll turn off the distractions. You'll get up before the sun and push through the fatigue. But here's the secret. That discomfort you feel, that's success whispering, you're on the right track. In my younger days, I once skipped 6 weeks of television. I didn't even touch the remote. Do you know what happened? I read 6 books in that time. I reworked my goals, I strategized my life, and in those 6 weeks, I advanced my career by 6 months. Why? Because I demanded more from myself than my environment demanded from me. You've got to become your own supervisor, your own coach, your own enforcer. And I promise, when you hold yourself accountable to greatness, you begin to walk differently. You speak with purpose. You work with fire. You become a magnet for success because you carry the discipline of someone who deserves it. And here's another piece of wisdom. Stop negotiating with mediocrity. Don't say just this once. Don't let yourself off the hook. If it's on your schedule, do it. If it's part of the plan, execute it. You see, every time you keep a promise to yourself, your confidence grows. And confidence is the soil from which success springs. There's no secret sauce. There's no shortcut. There's only the inner voice that says, this version of me is not enough. I must rise. You sharpen the axe daily, not once a year. You plant the seeds daily, not when you feel like it. Demand it. Demand excellence. Demand growth. And soon you'll be living a life so rich, even your past self won't recognize you. So don't wait for success to come find you. Instead, become the person success can't ignore. That starts by setting standards so high the old you can't reach them. Only the new you can. And when you make that decision, when you begin to demand more than the world expects, you'll discover that success doesn't happen to you. It begins within you. If you want to gain control of your life, gain control of your mornings. That's where it starts. Not in the afternoon when things are already in motion, and not in the evening when you're tired and chasing the tail end of the day. The battle for success is won or lost in the first hour after you wake up. The question is, are you starting on your terms or the world's? Too many people roll out of bed and fall straight into reaction. The phone rings, the messages buzz, the schedule pulls before they've even had a quiet moment. They've surrendered the tone of their day to everyone else's demands. That's not how you build momentum. That's how you drift. And drifting, my friend, leads nowhere good. The secret? Craft a morning ritual. Not just a routine, not just a checklist, but a ritual. A sacred, disciplined way to begin each day that reminds you you are in control of your life. I'm talking about intentionality. Starting with purpose, moving with clarity, fueling your spirit and your body before the world has a chance to knock on your door. Now, let me tell you what I used to do. In my earlier days, I was just like the average man. I hit snooze, rushed through the morning, and spilled coffee on the front seat because I was running late again. I was already behind before the day had even begun. And then I wondered why life wasn't improving, why success seemed distant. But when I started building a new kind of morning, one filled with intention, everything changed. Start with silence. That's right. In a world of constant noise, silence is power. Take a few moments when you wake up. No distractions, no devices, and just sit in thought. Reflect. Breathe. Give your mind room to receive ideas instead of drowning in everyone else's agenda. Then move to gratitude. Don't underestimate it. It's a habit that tunes your heart to opportunity. Start each day not with complaints, but with thanks. Thankful for the breath in your lungs. Thankful for the chance to begin again. Gratitude resets your perspective. It puts you in a state of strength, not stress. Now, feed your mind. This is not optional. Read something valuable, even if just for 15 minutes. Miss a meal, but not your reading, I used to say. Why? Because your mind is a garden. If you don't plant flowers, the weeds will take over. Success is fueled by wisdom, and wisdom comes from daily learning. After you've fed your mind, plan. Don't step into the day without a strategy. Jot down your goals. Review your priorities. Write down the one thing that, if done today, will move you forward. Don't start by answering the world's questions. Start by asking your own. What must I accomplish today to win this day? And here's a big one. Move your body. Yes, even if it's just stretching, walking, breathing. Physical energy fuels mental clarity. You can't feel powerful in your mind if your body is dragging. Get your blood flowing. Shake off the slumber. Remind yourself that you are alive, alert, and on a mission. This ritual, silence, gratitude, learning, planning, and movement, it's not long, but it's powerful. In just 30 to 60 minutes, you can transform your mindset, your energy, and your results. You can prepare yourself to handle the day, not just react to it. And here's what happens when you do this consistently. You begin to develop something called momentum. And momentum, my friend, is a success. When you win the first hour, you carry confidence into the second. That confidence fuels decisions. Those decisions fuel results. And by noon, you're already ahead of 90% of the world. Because you started with intention, not chaos. Now, people say, Jim, I don't have time in the morning. Let me tell you something. If your life is important, you make time. You wake up earlier. You shut off the TV sooner. You stop giving the first hour of your day to things that don't move the needle. Because once you taste what it feels like to start your day with clarity and power, you'll never go back to mediocrity. Let me give you a secret to wealth, success, and clarity. It's called a journal. Not a fancy one, not even a long one, just a book and a pen that you keep close. Most people underestimate the power of writing things down. But I'm telling you, if you'll learn to think on paper, you'll begin to pull order out of the chaos. You'll start to understand yourself better, track your growth, and refine your thinking until it becomes a tool sharp enough to carve out your future. One of the worst things you can do is trust your memory. Ideas are fragile. They come floating by like clouds, and if you don't reach up and capture them, they vanish. You might say, oh, I'll remember that later. No, you won't. I used to do the same. I had good thoughts in the shower, big ideas on the road, even moments of clarity while listening to a speaker. And for years, I let them disappear. What a tragedy to have insight visit you and you don't even invite it to stay. So I began the discipline of keeping a journal. A journal is not a diary. I'm not asking you to record the weather or document your lunch. I'm talking about a place where you think, a place where you reason, ask questions, test philosophies, challenge your assumptions, and plan your next moves. If you're serious about success, really serious, then you need a place to lay out your thoughts like a mechanic lays out his tools. Because just like a good mechanic, the better you understand your tools, the better job you can do fixing what needs attention. Start simple. In the morning, write out your intentions. What do I want to feel today? What must I focus on? What am I avoiding that needs attention? Then at the end of the day, reflect. What worked today? What didn't? What did I learn? Where did I succeed? Where did I drift? This is how you install a feedback loop into your life. Most people live day to day with no record, no analysis, and therefore no improvement. And don't just record what's happening. Record how you're thinking about what's happening. That's where the gold is. If you're frustrated, write it down. Why? What's the cause? What's the solution? This isn't therapy, it's strategy. This is how a leader thinks. This is how a wealth builder thinks. It's not about emotion, it's about elevation. Now let me give you another way to use a journal. When you study something powerful, a quote, a passage, a conversation, write it down and then wrestle with it. What does it mean to you? How could it apply to your goals? I used to do this with books. I didn't just read them, I argued with them. I underlined, I made notes in the margin. I wrote, I agree, or I don't know about that, or this is big. And then I transferred the best parts into my journal so I could revisit them and let the idea go to work on me again. See, when you capture something on paper, you get to return to it. A powerful thought is like a seed. It might not sprout today, but if it's in your journal, you can come back to it a week from now, a month, a year, and suddenly, bam, it's exactly what you need. I flipped back through my old journals and found notes that changed my life again. You can also use your journal to build your vision. Write about the future you're creating. Not what you hope might happen, what you've decided will happen. Write with certainty. Describe your goals. Describe how it feels to achieve them. Describe the kind of person you must become to deserve those results. This is how you train your subconscious mind to work for you, not against you. And yes, it'll feel awkward at first. You'll stare at the blank page. You'll wonder, what do I even write? That's okay, write that. I don't know what to write. Start right where you are. The more you write, the clearer your mind becomes. The clearer your mind, the better your choices. And the better your choices, the better your results. That's how it works. I can trace some of the biggest shifts in my life back to something I wrote in a journal. A goal clarified, a limiting belief uncovered, a pattern exposed, a breakthrough realized. That's the power of thinking on paper. It turns fuzzy ideas into focused action. So I encourage you, don't let another day go by where your best ideas escape. Get a notebook. Keep it with you. Open it in the morning. Open it before bed. Use it to build the bridge between who you are and who you're becoming. And remember, your memory is a poor servant, but your journal is a faithful friend. Treat it that way and it will serve you for the rest of your life. There comes a time in every person's life when they must decide who they're going to be, not just what they want, but what they're willing to become. And that decision always hinges on one simple choice: growth or comfort. Let me tell you, comfort is where average people live. It's where potential goes to sleep. It's where dreams turn into regrets. But growth lives in discomfort. Growth lives in challenge. Growth lives on the other side of fear. And if you're going to level up, if you're going to attract success and wealth into your life, then you must choose growth over comfort every time. Now, that's not easy. It's not supposed to be. I remember when I first started in business. Everything in me wanted to stay small, stay safe, stay unnoticed. You know what that is? That's the comfort zone talking. That's the voice that whispers, you don't have to speak up. You don't have to try something new. Just stay here where it's warm and easy. But I quickly learned that nothing worthwhile ever comes from that voice. The minute I said yes to discomfort, yes to the challenge of growth, that's when everything started to change. You see, fear and pain, those uncomfortable feelings you want to avoid, they're not the enemy. They're actually signals. Signals that something new is being born in you. Signals that you're at the edge of your old self, pushing into the new. Most people run from that feeling. But successful people, they walk straight into it. They understand that on the other side of fear is power. On the other side of discomfort is a stronger version of themselves. That's the difference. Comfort says stay in bed. Growth says get up and train. Comfort says you've done enough. Growth says you've only just begun. Comfort says you're not ready. Growth says you'll become ready by starting. Can you feel the difference? One leads to decay, the other to destiny. Now, how do you know you're choosing growth? Simple. You'll feel resistance. That voice in your head will start arguing. That internal thermostat will start beeping. That's good. That means you're in the zone. That means you're getting closer to the breakthrough. Think about the gym. How do you build muscle? Resistance. You lift something heavier than what's comfortable, and over time, your strength increases. The same principle applies to your character, your skills, your income, your influence. If it doesn't challenge you, it doesn't change you. But here's the thing. You can't just choose growth once and think that's enough. You have to choose it daily. It has to become a part of your mindset. Every time you have a choice between easy and right, between safe and significant, you must lean into the hard thing, because repetition builds identity, and identity shapes destiny. I've met people who want big success but refuse to get uncomfortable. They want wealth but won't invest in themselves. They want influence but won't risk rejection. They want change, but they're afraid of the pain that comes with it. Let me tell you, that's like saying, I want to climb the mountain, but I don't want to feel tired. It doesn't work that way. You must pay the price for elevation. But oh, the view from the top. It's worth every step. You must stretch yourself daily. Say yes to the meeting that scares you. Volunteer for the task that makes your hands shake. Ask the question even if your voice trembles. That's how you grow. Every time you face discomfort and push through it, you earn a little more belief in yourself. And belief is the fuel of success. So how do you make this practical? Start each week with one uncomfortable action you commit to, something you've been avoiding, something you know would grow you. Write it down, schedule it, do it. And when you finish it, write down how you felt. I promise with each act of courage, your comfort zone shrinks and your confidence expands. Remember, your future is not something you step into. You can't step into a greater life with the same level of thinking, effort, and risk you're operating at now. Something must be upgraded, and that something is you. You weren't designed to stay where it's safe. You were made to grow, to expand, to influence. Don't let comfort rob you of the person you could become. Choose growth, even when it's awkward, even when it's painful, even when no one's clapping. Because the reward isn't just what you gain, it's who you become. And when you become someone who consistently chooses growth, you'll look back and barely recognize the person you used to be. That's transformation. That's leveling up. And that's when success and wealth don't just visit, you attract them. Because you've become the kind of person success is drawn to. One of the most powerful skills you'll ever develop on your journey to success is not just the ability to say yes to the right things, but the courage to say no to the wrong ones. Let me tell you, it's not what you say yes to that ruins your productivity and steals your future. It's what you allow in when you didn't have the discipline to say no. Now, most people don't struggle with identifying the big distraction. No one wakes up thinking, today I'll waste my time, drain my energy, and lose sight of my goals. No, the enemy is subtle. It comes dressed in invitations that sound urgent, requests that feel polite, and habits that are socially acceptable but personally destructive. If you want to level up your life, if you want to truly attract success and wealth, you must master the art of saying no. Discipline, after all, is not just doing the right things, it's also refusing the wrong one. It's having the presence of mind and the strength of will to protect your time, your energy, and your vision like they are sacred, because they are. I began trimming the fat from my calendar, my commitments, and my conversations, and suddenly I had time. I had clarity. I had peace. See, every no is really a deeper yes. When you say no to gossip, you say yes to focus. When you say no to mindless scrolling, you say yes to purposeful learning. When you say no to toxic people, you say yes to your well-being. And when you say no to one more night of procrastination, you say yes to the life that's waiting on the other side of discipline. You can't become wealthy in time, spirit, or money if you're constantly leaking energy into things that don't serve you. Imagine trying to fill a bucket with holes in it That's your life. When you don't say no. Every distraction is a hole. Every time waster is a leak. Every unnecessary commitment is a crack. If you don't patch those holes, no matter how hard you work, your bucket will always be empty. Now, I'm not saying you should become rude or rigid. I'm saying become clear. Clarity leads to confidence, and confidence gives you the strength to say, that doesn't align with who I'm becoming. See, it's easier to say no when you know exactly what you're saying yes to. But saying no requires practice. Start small. Look at your week. What's on your calendar that doesn't belong there? What habits are eating your time but feeding no result? What people are pulling you away from your purpose rather than pushing you toward it? Be honest and start pruning. I had to learn to say no to evening television if I wanted to build a morning routine that would change my life. I had to say no to social events if I wanted to build my business. I had to say no to certain opportunities, good ones, because they weren't great ones. And every time I said no, I felt a bit more free, a bit more focused, a bit more powerful. Remember this, your yes loses its value when it's too easy to give. Say yes too often and your time becomes a currency others spend without permission. But say no wisely and you become the master of your time. And that's the beginning of mastery in every other area of your life. You want to level up? Then learn to filter your life. Be ruthless about what gets your attention. Because your attention is your most valuable asset. Where it goes, your life follows. So from this day forward, I want you to protect your yes. Guard it like gold. Every yes should be an investment, with a return that moves you closer to the life you're building. And every no should be a decision rooted in discipline, not guilt. You can't please everyone and build an extraordinary life at the same time. You can't chase every invitation and still catch your dream. You can't say yes to everything and still have the energy to pursue what really matters. Say no to the noise so you can say yes to your next level. Say no to what's urgent so you can say yes to what's important. Say no to comfort so you can say yes to growth. And say no to what pulls you down so you can say yes to what lifts you up. That's how you level up. That's how you start attracting success and wealth. By refusing to waste your energy on what doesn't count and reserving your best for what truly does. If you've got a big vision, you need a strong vehicle to carry it. That vehicle is your body. And make no mistake, your health is not a luxury, it's a requirement. If you're serious about success, if you want to build wealth, if you've made up your mind to live a powerful life, then you'd better start treating your body as the first tool of success. Let me say it plain. You can't lead a strong life with a weak body. You can't chase your goals with energy that's been compromised. You can't think clearly when your physical state is dragging you down. And you certainly can't enjoy success if your health breaks down when the rewards finally show up. That's why I say, don't put health on the someday list. Don't treat it like it's optional. It's essential. People ask me, Jim, what does health have to do with wealth? I tell them everything. What good is $1 million idea if you don't have the energy to execute it? What's the value of building a business or a legacy if your body is too fatigued to participate in it? Wealth is attracted to energy, to vibrancy, to clarity, and all of that begins with a body that's taken care of. You don't need to be a bodybuilder or a marathon runner. You just need to be deliberate. A 30-minute walk in the morning. Clean, whole food on your plate. A full night of rest. Hydration. Consistency. Simple things. But done every day, they become a foundation strong enough to carry your dreams across the finish line. Back when I was getting serious about changing my life, one of the first things I changed was how I treated my body. I realized I had been skipping meals, surviving on caffeine, sleeping too little, and moving too little. And my results showed it, so I flipped the script. I started walking. I cleaned up my eating. I prioritized sleep. Nothing fancy, just consistency. You'd be amazed what happens to your mind when your body stops screaming at you and starts working with you. Your energy goes up, your decisions get sharper, your confidence rises, and your productivity multiplies. Now, some people say, but Jim, I don't have time. Let me challenge you on that. You don't have time not to. Every hour you lose to fatigue, every day you lose to illness, every week you waste feeling drained, that's time that could have been invested in building your future. Health doesn't cost, it pays. It pays in energy, clarity, presence, and longevity. Don't fall for the myth that success is about burning yourself out. It's not. Real success, sustainable success, requires that you show up fully. And you can't do that in a broken-down vehicle. Imagine a world-class performer stepping onto the stage in worn-out shoes, out of breath, and barely able to stand. That's what it looks like when you try to perform in life with poor health. You must honor the vessel that carries your vision. And let's not forget this: discipline in the body builds discipline in the mind. When you train your body to show up and move when it doesn't feel like it, you're training your character to lead, not follow. You're training your mind to be the boss, not the employee of your emotions. That kind of internal strength translates to every part of life: business, relationships, finances. You want to feel better about yourself? Start treating your health like your future depends on it, because it does. The strength to wake up early, to think clearly, to work with intensity, to lead with energy, to sustain focus across long hours and longer seasons. That strength doesn't come from wishful thinking. It comes from movement, fuel, and rest. If you're serious about leveling up, you've got to look at your health as part of the success equation, not a side quest, not something you'll handle later. Right now, today, this week, clean up the sugar, cut down the junk, add some greens, take that walk, stretch, breathe, rest, hydrate, move, repeat. There's no mystery to this. It's just personal respect in action. And don't make the mistake of thinking you can grind your way to the top and fix your body later. Later may never come. And if it does, it may cost you far more than it would have if you started today. Pay the price now or pay the penalty later, but either way you pay. Choose wisely. So here's the principle. Treat your body like your dreams depend on it, because they do. Your body is not a burden. It's your first business. It's your first leadership role, and it's the first foundation you'll ever build. Strengthen it, and you'll think better, work better, lead better, and live better. You want to build something great? Start with the one thing that carries you through it all. Level up your health, and you'll level up your life. If you want to be wealthy, study wealth. Now, that sounds almost too simple, doesn't it? But let me assure you, most people don't do it. They wish for wealth, they dream of success, but they never stop to study it. And that's where transformation begins. Not in luck, not in lottery tickets, not in blind ambition, but in deliberate learning. Success leaves clues. Wealth leaves patterns. If you want to change your financial life, the first thing you must do is become a student of those who've done it. Back when I was just getting started, I was broke. Not just financially broke, but philosophically broke. I had no structure for success. I didn't know how to think about money, let alone how to attract it or grow it. Then I met Mr. Schote, the man who changed everything for me. He didn't give me money, he gave me education. He said, Jim, if you want to be wealthy, don't just work harder, think better. Find out what wealthy people do, how they think, what books they read, what habits they build, and copy that. That was the turning point. I made it my mission to study wealth the way a doctor studies medicine. Because when you make study your lifestyle, success becomes predictable. That's the beauty of it. Success is not a mystery, it's a formula. And the formula is written in books, in seminars, in habits and philosophies, but only the serious student finds it. Are you a serious student? Let me tell you what most people do. They see someone successful and they envy them, or they criticize them, or they assume they got lucky. That's wasted energy. Don't envy, emulate. Don't resent. If someone has built wealth and success, they've likely done it through a set of repeatable behaviors. Study that. Study how they manage time, how they speak, how they spend, how they save, how they invest, and above all, how they think. Because here's the truth. Wealth is attracted to mindset. The wealthy think long-term. They think in terms of value, not cost. They understand risk and they embrace responsibility. They see every dollar as a seed, not just spending power. And they invest in themselves before they ever invest in the market. These are the thought patterns you must adopt if you want to rise. Now, how do you study wealth? Let me give you a practical roadmap. Number one, read books. Don't miss a meal, but don't miss your reading. Pick up autobiographies of great achievers. Study financial classics like The Richest Man in Babylon, Think and Grow Rich, or The Millionaire Next Door. These books are treasure maps. You don't have to guess your way to success. You can read your way there. Next, attend seminars. Go where successful people gather. Go to learn, go to listen. Sometimes just being in the room is enough to stretch your mind. Number 3, take notes. Don't just listen, write. Keep a journal. Reflect on what you're learning. Turn ideas into action steps. And lastly, study people. Watch how successful people carry themselves, how they make decisions, how they handle setbacks. Wealth is often more about who you become than what you accumulate. Next, track your growth. Just as you track physical progress in the gym, track your financial mindset. Are you thinking bigger this month than you did last month? Are you acting more deliberately? Are you investing more wisely? See, the transformation isn't just in your bank account, it's in your philosophy. That's what Mr. Schoaf taught me. Work harder on yourself than you do on your job. If you become more, you'll attract more. Let me also warn you, financial ignorance is expensive. Most people don't know how money works, so it works against them. They trade time for money, never learning how to make money work for them. They avoid studying finance because it feels hard or boring. But they pay for that avoidance with stress, debt, and limitation. I say pay the price to learn or pay the penalty for staying ignorant. The price to learn is time, energy, and focus. The penalty for not learning is a lifetime of struggle. Choose your price. Wealth doesn't arrive by accident. It's attracted by discipline, focus, and wisdom. So start learning. Get fascinated with how wealth works. Get curious. Take responsibility. Stop saying, I don't understand money, and start saying, I'm learning to master money. That one shift will change your life. And one more thing, wealth is not just about money. It's about freedom. It's about the ability to make choices. It's about the power to help others, to give, to grow, to travel, to rest, to build. But all that begins with financial education. And that education begins when you begin. Not tomorrow, today. So I challenge you, become a student of wealth. Learn from the greats. Read what they read, think how they think, do what they do, because if you want to walk where they walk, you've got to first learn how they walked. Success leaves clues, but only for those wise enough to study them. Let me tell you something simple but profound. Don't end the day until you've finished it in your mind. Most people go to sleep with unresolved thoughts, incomplete tasks, and no plan for tomorrow. And that's a major reason why they stay stuck. But those who rise, those who grow, those who level up, do something different, they review and they reset. You see, success isn't just in what you do during the day, it's in how you process what you've done. The day doesn't end when the clock strikes midnight. The day ends when you extract the lessons, harvest the experiences, and plant the intentions for tomorrow. Nighttime is the workshop of winners. It's where reflection meets intention. And it's how an average life becomes an exceptional one. Now, let me take you back. My mentor, Mr. Schoaf, once told me, Jim, don't just live life, analyze it. Don't just go through the day, get from the day. That changed my life because I used to just go to bed tired. But after I learned this principle, I went to bed wiser. I stopped letting the days blur together like a fog, and I started reviewing each one like a teacher grades a paper. Now be honest, no blame, no guilt, just clarity. What did you avoid? Where did you waste time? Where did you let emotion win over reason? This is where growth begins. Failure is a better teacher than success if you're willing to listen. Most people ignore their losses or they excuse them. But successful people study them. They ask, what's the lesson here, and then apply it. Remember, a mistake not reviewed is a mistake repeated. Here's the key. Don't just reflect, reset. Take the lessons from today and translate them into a better plan for tomorrow. Adjust your schedule, shift your focus, improve your attitude. Success isn't built in a single act, it's built in a pattern. And patterns are created one choice at a time. Now let me tell you why this habit is so powerful. It compounds. Do this every night for 30 days and you'll be more aware, more focused, and more confident, because now you're tracking your life. You're no longer running on autopilot. You're driving with intention. Most people live reactively. They wake up and just respond to whatever shows up. But when you end your day with reflection, you begin the next day with purpose. That's how you stay ahead of the curve. Think of it like a pilot making course corrections. A jet headed to New York from Los Angeles isn't on exact track the whole way. It constantly adjusts. Tiny degrees of correction. If the pilot doesn't do that, the plane ends up in the wrong city. And if you don't correct your course daily, You'll wake up a year from now in a life you never intended to live. So I encourage you, don't be lazy with the final hour of your day. Don't just scroll your phone or collapse into bed. That time is sacred. That's when you sit with your thoughts, write in your journal, and coach yourself through your own progress. Say to yourself, what kind of day did I build? And what kind of tomorrow can I construct with it? You don't need perfection to level up. You need adjustments. And those adjustments are found at night, in quiet review. Here's a Jim Rohn principle for you to hold on to. Days are expensive. When you spend a day, you have one less day to spend. So make sure you spend each one wisely. What better way to spend a day wisely than to review it, record it, and reset from it? If you want to attract success and wealth, you must become the kind of person who doesn't waste time, not just in the hours you live, but in the insights you harvest from them. Time, my friends, is a precious resource, and it's running out with every passing second. We don't have the luxury of forever, and if you think you do, you're missing the whole point. Success doesn't reward the ones who wait for the perfect moment. It rewards those who show up, take action, and live with urgency. Too many people waste time thinking there's always tomorrow, but tomorrow is never promised. The fact is, you must approach every day like it's your last shot, because in many ways it might be. There's no room for procrastination in a life driven by success. We can't afford to put things off. You don't have the time to wait for everything to be perfect, for the perfect conditions to fall into place, or for someone to give you the go-ahead. Start now. Start with what you have, where you are, and watch yourself evolve into the person you need to be. It's the people who take bold action in the face of uncertainty that shape their futures. Think of all the opportunities you've missed because you hesitated, because you thought, I'll wait until I'm more prepared. But guess what? You'll never feel 100% ready, and that's perfectly okay. The only way to gain confidence is to take action. You have to build your courage by acting, not by waiting for the right moment. Time is the one thing you can never get back. Every minute you waste is a minute you'll never see again. So start moving with urgency. Make every second count. Whether it's a business opportunity, a personal goal, or an idea you've been sitting on, now is the time to act, not later. Living with urgency is about seeing your potential and going after it as though it's the most important thing in the world, because it is. Your future is built on the actions you take today, not the ones you put off until tomorrow. Live with a sense of purpose in every step you take, and when you do, the momentum will build and the results will follow. Time waits for no one, and neither should you. Every moment you're not taking action is the moment your competition is moving ahead. Don't let time slip through your fingers. Use it to build the life you've always dreamed of. The clock is ticking, and it's up to you to make today count. So act with urgency. It's the only way to turn your dreams into reality.